Good morning, everyone. It's Tuesday the 9th of December. Time flies, but we are having a reintroduction to QE this week. We're revisiting and reminding ourselves of who we are and why everything we teach in the quantum edge actually works for us. Getting in the present moment, getting clear, getting calm. All of that creates capacity within our central nervous system. And when that capacity is there, our desires have a place to land, a place to be home. So yesterday we talked about the power of the present moment, but today we're shifting gears a little bit and reminding ourselves of who we are, who we really are. So yesterday I closed with a statement: you are not a human trying to awaken. You are awareness having a human experience. Remember, we are eternal beings. And we chose to come here and have a human experience. Do I know this with 100% certainty? I don't, because I'm here having a human experience. But I have enough evidence that I believe that we are eternal beings, and that when we leave this earth, however that happens, we will transition back into 100% spirit, infinite intelligence. So there's a small percentage of the total you that's human, that's in your body, that's here on earth. You are 99.99% energy, spirit. And that spirit is connected to infinite intelligence. So you actually have infinite intelligence within you, the greater you. And as a human, here having a human experience, you're able to tap into that. So a question I have is, can you recall, I want you to think about this for a moment, whether you're here live or on the recording, can you recall a time when you had immense clarity, absolute clarity? You knew you knew something absolutely. No doubt in your mind, knowing. I bet you've had moments like that. It could be a time in your life when you fell in love. And in that moment, you knew how great it felt. You knew with absolute clarity you wanted to be with that person as much as you could. Or maybe it could be something different. It could be something completely different. Maybe you were hunting for a job at a time when you were younger, and you applied for a job and you absolutely knew you wanted it and you knew you were going to get it. And then you were offered the job, you took the job, and you enjoyed it. You loved it. But prior to that absolute knowing in the physical world, you knew. What I want you to contemplate is that knowing, that absolute certainty, that clarity, comes from the greater you. That's your higher self, your inner being, your infinite intelligence, whatever you want to call it. You're part of the quantum field, telling you the direction to go, telling you what was going to happen. And sometimes it's really, really simple. Sometimes it's really simple. you're lost and you're out driving and you're trying to find your way home. And should I turn left or should I turn right? And you absolutely know you should turn right. And it turns out to be okay. Do you think you're being guided? I think so. But can either of you recall a time in your life when you had a feeling of absolute certainty? This is the right next step for me.
I can. Actually, several times,
I bet.
Uh, um,
Are you willing to share one of those times?
oh, sure.
Okay.
Um, I remember in buying a house,
Oh,
the house I'm in. Um, I
good example.
I walked in it and I said, "Ooh, I really want this." Uh, There was no second thoughts about it at all.
Yeah,
But then I had to get it and outbid somebody who else saw it that way.
sure, sure.
So, but there was a certainty that
There
this
was a
was,
certainty.
yeah.
Peggy and I have experienced that certainty, that feeling about a house, right, Peg? She's muted. She might be unable to answer right now. But
Okay.
we,
Yes, I do remember that. We
do you
just,
remember that, Peggy?
that was so interesting. I had my little house in Wellesley, which I loved, but
Mhm.
then we were gonna go look in Sherborne, which is where my ex-husband lived and where Natasha, my youngest, was in the public schools. And we looked and looked and looked, and nothing really struck our fancy. Like they were either fixer-uppers, which is fine, but it just didn't like hit like home. And then we were driving down Farm Road and we just saw this open house sign, right?
Yeah, we were
And
actually driving home kind of discouraged that the day didn't work
discouraged,
out.
yeah. And we were driving down Farm Road, which is about a mile from my former husband, where my former husband and he still lives there. And we pulled up the driveway and it was brand new construction. And the builder was like fanatical about quality. And it was just stunning. It had wood inlaid floors and just gorgeous, this huge chef's kitchen. And we were like, this is it. And then, same thing, Kathy, we had to figure out how to make it happen.
Yes. And get it.
But we did.
You did. Yeah.
I, I remember Peggy was, the word that comes to mind is smitten with the house. She was like, I gotta have this house. And we both felt very comfortable there, and Peggy made it happen. She has a way of figuring things out, but she made it
Wow.
happen. And we lived there for quite a few years and loved it. And then life changed, and we decided to come to Utah. And just to continue the story, one more piece, um, I'll make it short, but we ended up selling the house, and I was negotiating with the buyer, talking to him about it. And he said to me, he said, I've got to buy this house. If I don't, my wife is going to kill me. And I'm thinking to myself, that's not a very good negotiating statement.
You're right.
Right. But he bought the house and he ended up becoming a Thinking into Results client and a good friend.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, houses are a good example of you walk into a house and you feel the energy and you have a certain certainty. I want you to understand, to consider, to contemplate, to believe that that feeling of certainty and clarity is your inner being talking to you.
Like that.
It's your higher self saying this is the right move for you.
Yeah.
So who you really are is on your side. Your inner being wants you to have success, wants you to grow, wants you to experience life fully, wants you to have everything you desire. And it's leaving you clues. It's dropping breadcrumbs. It's giving you inspired actions. And every once in a while, you get immense clarity. like it just hits you on the side of the head.
It's a feeling, don't you think, inside?
Of
It's
course,
like,
yes,
it's
it's a
just,
feeling. Your inner being doesn't speak English, doesn't
yeah,
speak any verbal language. It's a vibrational feeling.
right.
Yeah. So we want to tap into that feeling. But the very first step is what we're discussing today. Remember who you really are. You are not your body. You're not just this human experience. That's a very small fraction of who you are. You are mostly energy, mostly wave, just a little bit of particle in this human body. And that energy is connected to infinite intelligence. And that energy, that spiritual part of you, is on your side. It's guiding you. So here's the reminder for today. Your spiritual self already holds the answers you seek. Your work, and I don't like to use the word work, but your assignment, your task is just to align with it. Get in touch with that energy. Get in touch with who you really are, align with it. Sometimes we call that coherence, but that's what we do here in Quantum Edge. We align ourselves with the bigger you, the greater you. The you that has clarity, infinite intelligence. The you that stands by you, ready to guide you through your human experience if you allow it to. So we're going to talk more in days and weeks to come about what is it that blocks us from fully accepting that and fully connecting things like resistance, things like paradigms, things like programming that's been done to us, past life traumas. There's a long list, but today let's just recognize who we are. We are almost entirely energy. And that energy is connected to all that is, infinite intelligence. And it's there waiting to guide us, to help us. So we have a saying here on Quantum Edge. Frequency first, strategy second. When you walked into the house, Kathy, you felt the frequency.
Yes,
You felt this is where I want to be. This
yes.
is where I want to spend my time. I love this house. You felt frequency. Then, once you were in that frequency, then you thought about strategy. Well, how am I going to acquire this house? Where is the money coming from? How am I going to outbid others who are also interested in it? How am I going to make this happen? But it's the frequency. It's the frequency that you need to get in first. And when you
Did
tap
did
into
you
that,
have
go ahead.
competing did you have competing bids on the house that you wanted in Sherborne?
We did not. I don't think we did, Peggy. We didn't have competing bids. We had a buyer who had a complicated situation. He was selling a house. He was a business owner that didn't have W-2 income. Um, he couldn't put down earnest money in a significant amount, so we were concerned that he wasn't serious. But after talking to him and reading his energy,
Mm-hmm.
and knowing the house that he had on the market was in a very hot market, we believed it would sell in a couple of days, and it did. That
Wow.
we decided to work with him. So there weren't competitive bids, but there were definitely complications, right, Peggy?
Yeah, I got
There
it.
were things that had to be worked out, and we trusted our feelings and our intuition and our
Mm-hmm.
gut.
Mm-hmm.
And we worked with him through all that. And by working through all that with him, we got to know him a little bit.
That's so
And
cool. That's
yeah, it was
great.
cool. He
Yeah.
was he was a member at a world-class golf course in the Boston area, and he invited me for a day of golf at the TPC, where many championships are held. It was wonderful, and got to know him even better. And then, like I said, he eventually became a Thinking into Results client.
Isn't that amazing? I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah. And they're still living there, and they're loving the house. And they built a pool in the backyard, and they made it their sanctuary. So everything worked out well for them. But the statement is, the guidance that we follow is frequency first, strategy second. And what that means is check into your energy, your frequency, your vibration about anything, all your situations. Check into that first, listen to it, read it. If it brings you clarity, because that frequency, that vibration that you feel inside of you, that's how your inner being, your higher self, communicates with you.
I love that. That's great.
Yeah. I recommend you start your day with frequency first. I start these calls with frequency first. Yeah, I have a strategy. I have a plan. I've got some outlines of what it is I'm going to say and what it is I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to do. But sometimes I deviate from that, and always, just 10 to 15 minutes before the call, I get in the energy of it. And I think about, and I set the intention. This is going to be a good call.
I love this. Yeah.
This is going to work out. People will be served by this. My whole idea of doing this week as a reintroduction week to get back to the basics, to set the baseline, came to me as an inspired action. I was in a quiet moment. I was still in the present moment. I was still and calm and in the present moment.
Mm-hmm.
And it came to me, hey, we've been doing this for 17 weeks. It's time to reset the playing field. It's time to reintroduce everyone to these topics and get them back to the basics and get them grounded, including myself.
I love it.
You
I
guys,
have a yeah.
go ahead, Kathy. You have a question?
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
You know, it's the holidays, and sometimes you have to go with family members. You know, you might not choose always to be with, in a way. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yes.
but you're going. So
Yeah.
what do you do?
You're going out of obligation, right? It's a
Yes.
family
Yeah.
member. It's
Right.
the right thing to do. But your experience in the past tells you that they're not necessarily in the vibration I'm in.
That's right.
They often bring me down. Or there will be conflicts that I would rather avoid,
Right.
right?
So
what
how
do
do you
your question
set
is,
your
what do you do?
vibration? You set your
Frequency,
vibration. Yeah.
frequency first, strategy second. So get in the frequency, meaning set your intention, set your focus on how you would love things to go.
Yeah.
Not based on past experience, based on what you would love to happen. And when you get in that energy, it's helpful. Send love to them. Send understanding to them when you're in the present moment. And then strategy second. After you're in that frequency, then you might think, well, what is my strategy? Oh, when they bring up a topic I really don't want to talk about, I'm going to say something like, well, that's interesting. And then you change the subject, or you move to a different room, or you excuse yourself and say, I think I should help Jane in the kitchen. You understand? You pre-plan your exit strategy from uncomfortable situations. That's your strategy, but you do your frequency first.
Send love and understanding. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Send
mean,
them love, send them understanding, because you do understand. It's their paradigms, it's their programming. You don't want to hold someone's paradigm against them. And your awareness of what's really going on allows you to rise above it. Peggy, you started to say something. I think I cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, Kathy, that's a really good idea. And I would say get excited about going because
Yeah.
it's an opportunity to manage your own frequency in the face of other people's frequency. Like I often think of Bob, when he would enter a room, I could feel his energy entering a ballroom of 150 people before I even saw him. Like I would turn around and see him standing there. And he was so grounded in his own frequency, in his own energy. And he just made that solid decision. I saw a video of him the other day on YouTube, somewhere saying, if someone's bothering you, you're letting them bother, like you're allowing your energy to be impacted by their energy. And back to Dan's point, they have no control because they have no awareness. And it's not to excuse bad behavior, but it's all to just to say that we are in an elite group of people in the 1% of the 1% of the 1% that understand and are aware that our thoughts turn to feelings, turn to our behavior, turn to our reality. And we are programmed up as kids, and lots of times that programming isn't giving us what we want in life. So we have the ability to change our paradigms, to change our programming. But the
Yep.
people around us, they have no idea that that's even that that's even a realm
Nope. They're
thing,
living by default.
they're living by default. And so, Kathy, the other powerful thing is I think you remember us telling you the story about my middle daughter and
Yeah,
Dan sending her love for a month and my
that's
former
right.
husband. And this isn't to manipulate other people, but I totally believe that we can influence and positively impact other people by expecting the best from them and sending them love and being what I call a vibrational invitation, that their true self, not their programming, but their true spiritual self, because they're spiritual beings too, will rise to the occasion when given the chance versus the expectation that, oh, Susie's just going to be cranky or resentful or, hard to deal with. You just think, wait a minute, she's a spiritual being, he's a spiritual being. And I'm just going to hold space for the best of that spirit to show up in versus what I've been conditioned to expect. And it's interesting, Neville Goddard in The Power of Awareness, there's a chapter where he talks about a woman who was working in a theater and her boss was giving her grief. And he said, well, on the way to work, are you thinking negative thoughts about your boss? And she's like, oh, yeah. And he said, okay, so here's the thing. That's what you're inviting. I'm paraphrasing. And she spent a month expecting only the best. And lo and behold, he started to change around her.
Mm, I love it.
Yeah, I'll find the
Okay.
quote
Yeah,
and
it's a great
send it
story.
to you. Actually, it's
It's in Power of Awareness.
yes,
It's a great story.
but it's it's a really good. Are we living from the inside out, or are we living from the outside in and reacting ourselves?
Yeah. And remember, Kathy, when you walk into a family event, you are a leader. And the way you lead is not the way we might classically think of leading. You're not coming in and telling them what to do or directing them or coaching them. You're leading them through your example. Your energetic role model has an impact on people. So if you do frequency first and you set your strategy on how you're going to cope with anything that might be negative, and you're effective at that, which I believe you will be because your frequency is high, you're actually being an example for the adults, for the children, because people are watching. So
Yeah.
realize that you have a power just by being you. just by being a role model,
And
a
sometimes
model.
I'll walk into a family event, and I'm aware of all the dynamics because there's a lot going on.
Yeah, sure.
And I kind of, and I maybe I need to try something differently. I I don't try to insert myself, and right away. I kind of get a temperature of the room,
Yeah.
and I wonder if I should change that and become a force. You know what I mean?
Well, I do know what you mean, but I think I think you'll be guided to what to do. I don't
Yeah,
I don't think being a leader means you need to be a force,
yeah.
an active force. I think your presence and your energy is all the force you need.
Okay.
You're being a role model, even when you're being calm, not reacting to whatever's happening in the situation,
Yeah,
and just taking it in. You are leading by being grounded, centered, and calm.
yeah. That's how I always am with them because you never know what's going to come about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and family dynamics. Sometimes you take sides and it ends up biting you. So use your intuition. Use
Yeah,
check in,
that's
feel
what I do.
feels what's right. But I think what you've been doing is probably fine. It might be challenging for you on the inside because you want to speak out, you want to defend, you want to correct people when you believe they're being incorrect or wrong. But sometimes you just got to say, let them, like Mel Robbins'
Hmm.
book.
Yep.
Yeah. Kathy, it dawns on me. I think our childhoods were obviously different but similar in certain ways.
Right.
And there I have a paradigm where when I go in a room, I'm scanning to see who's who and what's what. Like
Me
who's
too.
upset,
Yeah.
who's happy, who's sad, and have often taken it as my job to be the peacemaker or to make sure that I'm in step with everybody so as to not cause conflict. And like Dan said, when you just focus on, I think, future pacing it, or as Abraham calls it, segment intending, is so important. That just visualize how you want to be and how you want it to go.
Hmm.
And that's all you can. I don't like to use the word control, but that's your primary influence. And I can tell you, I had a meeting 2 weeks ago with a woman, a young gal, really nice. She meditates. She's a Zen Buddhist master in her spare time, and she's a COO in her real life, so to speak. But she is just so present and so in the moment, and her energy is so inviting to me. I immediately met her at these networking events, and I was like, I want to have coffee with you. And like when you're with her, she's just fully present in front of you. And it is the most attractive thing to me to be with someone who's in that energy in the moment, in the present moment, and just it's just very powerful. And I think the holidays are a powerful opportunity to practice and to get better at this if that's what
Hmm.
you desire, which it sounds
Hmm.
like it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's interesting, really.
Yep. And it sounds like this holiday season, you're going to get some opportunities to practice.
And
Opportunities to
Kathy,
practice frequency
yeah,
first, strategy second.
right. Kathy, it's chapter 7 in Power of Awareness. It's called
Oh, okay.
Attitude. And he talks about the example of the set designer and the
Okay.
transformation around her. I think those examples are very encouraging and powerful.
I'll read it when we get off the phone.
Okay, perfect.
Great conversation this morning, ladies. Thank you for your generous participation. Those of you listening to the recording, please share any comments or questions you have in our WhatsApp group. We'll get back to you. But I hope you enjoyed this session. And what I'd like to do right now is to just take a moment and allow us to get centered and calm. Okay? So those of you listening to the recording, don't do this if you're driving, but the rest of you, take a deep breath and close your eyes. Breathe in deep and hold, and slowly let it out. Do it once again and focus on your heart. Breathe into your heart. Hold. Let it go. And just breathe normally for a moment. In this moment. You're relaxed. Your shoulders are dropped. Perhaps focus your attention on your heart. Visualize a light surrounding your heart and visualize that light growing, glowing and growing, expanding. And that bright white light covers your whole body. And just sit for a few moments in that light. Calm, relaxed, in the present moment. Perhaps feeling gratitude for this present moment. And knowing that you are connecting to the greater you, the part of you that is energy, spirit, infinite intelligence. You're grateful for all the guidance you've received to bring you to this moment in time. You're grateful for what's coming your way. And as you contemplate that present moment and all that you're grateful for, know that I'm grateful for you being here. I want you to have a wonderful day. I love you all.